Lifestealer and Chaos Knight are two of the most picked carries in high MMR Dota right now, and there is a reason for that. They are currently sitting at 53.3% and 53.7% win rate respectively, and are the second and third most matches played heroes. In this video, I'll be attempting to break down to you why these two heroes are absolutely broken in the current state of Dota. I'll be providing you with the best itemization choices and pointing out the optimal farming route for two of these heroes to work in 99% of your pub games. Just take my 4.5k MMR students win rate here as reference towards the pointers that I'll be giving you today. Before we begin, if you want to get coaching with me to improve your gameplay, you can find the details in the description box below and reach out to me directly on Discord. Without further ado, let's get into the video. In order to understand why Lifestealer and Chaos Knight are so popular now, we first need to understand what goes on in the laning phase. There's a saying that I live by, which is easy lane, easy game. In the current meta, the strongest offlaners happen to be from the strength attribute origin. For example, we have Centaur, Axe and Slardar being the top 3 most picked offlaners currently due to their strong facets and passives. These offlaners, when paired with any strong push 4 range heroes like Phoenix, Dark Willow or Weaver, would easily crush lanes and destroy the opponent's Safelane tower once they hit level 6. So then, here comes the solution to these heroes, which are Lifestealer and Chaos Knight. Both of these heroes are extremely strong in lane when paired with any ranged push 5 heroes that offer any form of disables, like slows or stuns. For example, Witch Doctor, Venomancer and Leech pair very well with both of these heroes because of their synergistic spells and high kill potential in lane. 9 times out of 10, with good laning fundamentals and communication with your support, you should be able to win the lane easily, or at the very least, draw even and not get kicked out of lane by level 4 or 5. This will give you a bigger head start in the game due to more farm coming from creep waves rather than jungle camps, and also provide your team with the advantage of not allowing the enemy's offlaner to come online early on. During the laning phase, you should be actively looking for openings to run your opponents down in lane as soon as possible, especially when you see 2 vs 1 opportunities to trade. 1 vs 1 trades should also be taken if playing against melee offlaners based on factors such as higher health, higher level, and size of the wave. An open wound from Lifestealer or a stun from Chaos Knight followed up by your post 5 spell would normally result in an extremely favorable trade or even a potential kill. The sooner you start to take these favorable trades, the faster you will be able to zone the enemy offlaner out from the lane. This will eventually enable you to snowball into more farm, higher level, and subsequently higher kill potential for you in the lane. Most of the time, if you're able to kill the enemy offlaner and push 4 a few times before the 7 or 8 minute mark, you should be able to start pushing the offlaner's tier 1 tower down. In cases where you do manage to break their tier 1 tower, you would normally follow this up with keeping their offlane pushed in and their ancient camps and triangle taken away from them. Due to the nature of both of these heroes that are able to farm ancient creeps very early on, this provides you with even more potential to generate a quick hit start in terms of net worth and XP compared to your opponents. These two heroes are also really hard to be ganked because they can stand their own. For instance, Lifestealer is able to rage and infest away to safety, and Chaos Knight's ultimate allows him the opportunity to turn ganks around. With the passive of Chaos Knight granting a 50% chance to spawn 1 extra illusion, and his illusion facet making his illusions tankier, you can easily juke enemies with your illusions, or try to turn the table around against them. Also, post-laning phase, Lifestealer's Corpse Eater facade can easily give him 150 to 200 free health if you have somewhat decent last hitting ability in lane. Once you go into the early game phase, the farming speed of both of these heroes are also rapidly accelerated by their passives and actives. For example, with Max Gold Frenzy on Lifestealer, he gets 8% bonus move speed and 90 bonus attack speed, which is really insane if you think about it, because it allows him to kill creeps faster and move between camps and waves quicker as well. Once you get Armlet, you will be able to chip down Ancients in a span of a few seconds compared to most other carries out there. On Chaos Knight, his Chaos Strike passive makes it so that you will never run out of health when farming, and can dish out extremely high damage output when farming early on. Every time his ultimate is off cooldown, that would be an indicator to use it to farm Ancients in the early game phase. Before we continue with this video, I would like to quickly introduce to you Dota 2 Pro Tracker, the top Dota 2 website to get your resources from about up-to-date meta builds and hero picks. If you are not already using Dota 2 Pro Tracker to learn more about the game, be sure to check it out. With that said, let's get back to the video. For the item builds and farming routes, here is what I would suggest for Lifestealer and Chaos Knight. For Lifestealer, you'll be building a bracer and face boots in lane to enable you to play the lane stronger and sustain. If you manage to win your lane and break their tower, you will use this advantage and farm their Ancients and Triangle. Also, don't forget to plant your own wards around their Triangle and Ancients if you want to keep pressuring the area and taking farm away from them safely. Otherwise, if you lost lane and are kicked out of lane, farm for your armlet and head to your own Triangle. Mainly play for cleanup kills which are free and convenient for you to pick up. As you are farming, aim to get your Radiance before the 20-minute mark. A sweet spot would be something like 17 to 19 minutes, and start farming closer to your team after that. Start playing for objectives and fights near your team once you have achieved your Radiance. After you get your Radiance, you now have two options. Firstly, you can choose to get a Blink Dagger if you lack initiation in your team, or you find that there are very hard heroes that you have to catch that stand behind in fights. Otherwise, if everything is smooth flowing, go with Sage and Yasha for status resistance, extra attack speed and movement speed. You would then adjust your items according to the game afterwards. For Chaos Knight, the item build and farming route would be very similar to Lifestealer. So in lane, you'll build a bracer for sustain and power threats to play stronger in lane. Similar to Lifestealer, if you win your lane and break their tower, use the advantage you have to farm their Ancients and Triangle and spam your all off cooldown. Otherwise, if you lost lane and are kicked out of lane, head to your own Triangle at level 6 or 7 and use your ultimate off cooldown to farm the Ancients. Make sure to keep your illusions alive during the farming process by using the de-aggro mechanic. Mainly play for cleanup kills and convenient fights that are easy for you to pick up. Aim to get your Armlet, Orchid and +1 core item, whether that be Heart, Black Kimbar, Manta, and start farming closer to your team after that. Start playing for objectives and fights near your team once you're able to get that +1 core item. Normally, the sweet spot will be around 19 to 21 minutes. After that, you would then get a Blink Dagger. Note that if the game pacing is a lot faster, you can also opt to get a Blink Dagger before your +1 core item. Once that is done, you will then adjust your items according to the game afterwards. In a nutshell, both of these heroes are insanely well-rounded in all aspects of what makes up a good carry. They are strong in lane with high kill potential, they have easy last hitting animation and high right click damage, they are both sustainable by being tanky and durable even after the lane, they farm extremely quick with broken passives and actives, and their backline catch ability is very high if you synergize it with a Blink Dagger buy. If you follow the itemization, farming route and overall game plan that I had laid out for you for both of Lifestealer and Chaos Knight, I'm confident that you will see yourself climbing the ranks quickly. I hope this video has been helpful to you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.